Hi, I'm Rob Walsh, and welcome to another 1010 Wins Neighborhood Spotlight. For more than 55 years, 1010 Wins has had its finger on the pulse of the Big Apple 24/7. And now through our Neighborhood Spotlight, we focus on what makes this city great: the strength, creativity, and character of our neighborhoods. And today we bring you a neighborhood with a rich history, dynamic energy, and strong leadership, with the Flatiron Nomad Partnership leading the way. Speaking of partnerships, we could not do this without the generous support of Dime Community Bank. Let's take a minute to find out more.
When you need to be sure your financial data is safe, we've got your bank. When you want real-time tools to manage your money on the go and real people you can go to whenever you need them, we've got your bank. When you believe there's no greater asset than trust, we've got your bank. With top-rated cybersecurity, leading-edge online and mobile banking tools, and a dedicated team to help make sure they're always working for you. Trust Dime Community Bank to be there for you and your business. Visit dime.com to learn more.
We got your bank. From Montauk to Manhattan and growing, Dime Community Bank. When one thinks of the Flatiron neighborhood, the iconic wedge-shaped building of the Flatiron quickly comes to mind. For my kids, it's the original Shake Shack in Madison Square Park. You can't beat it. I've enjoyed watching this part of the city grow into a memorable, inviting, and destination gem. A place that now provides a broad diversity of experiences, living, working, and shopping. And here with us today is Michael Beirut, an award-winning graphic designer and partner of Pentagram, whose creative work is part of the permanent collections around the globe, at MoMA, at Cooper Hewitt, at the Library of Congress, and the list goes on. He's created some of the most iconic corporate logos, and recently that of the Flatiron Nomad Partnership. Welcome, Michael.
Hi, Rob. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's great for you to spend some time with us today. I appreciate it. I think I've poured through all of your videos, and I've learned more about marketing and branding, and I wish when I was working in that neighborhood just to the south, I knew you. But I want to talk about the rebranding of this special neighborhood and tell us a little bit about some of the challenges that you faced in the design.
Well, any branding exercise always has its own unique challenges. And I think in this case, we have a history with this neighborhood. Our business, Pentagram, has been located in what was then just called the Flatiron District since 1980. And then was right on Madison Square Park for many years. And then we moved to bigger quarters at 20th and Park Avenue South. So we know the area really well. And when the district's predecessor organization, the Flatiron 23rd Street Partnership, started up, we designed the logo for them that was in place for many, many years up till this most recent makeover, which corresponded to the expansion of the district's borders to incorporate a neighborhood to the north that when I started working there was unnamed, but got the name Nomad, and conveniently expanded just a little bit to the south. So it moved to the south side of 20th Street. So we were back in the neighborhood again officially. And so it was really a great challenge to take this on. And I think anything that's like this sort of branding challenge, it's who's the audience, who are you trying to appeal to? And you look at the people that populate the sidewalks on any given day, and you'll see people who live there, people who are visiting there as tourists, or people just enjoying New York, and you see people that are there for the restaurants, people who are there for the Museum of Mathematics, people that are attending, college or yoga classes, anything, So people are there for a million different reasons. How do you make that neighborhood come alive? How do you make them see that it's a destination that is at once reflective of that amazing wedge-shaped building that you were describing earlier, the Flatiron building, which is a landmark known around the world, and also a neighborhood that's changing, like every great neighborhood in New York, constantly changing, constantly evolving, a source of dynamism and excitement. And I think the advent of Nomad represents that change. So the name was changing from Flatiron 23rd Street to Flatiron Nomad, and it came upon us to just figure out how do you visually express that and how do you capture some of that excitement that goes along with that change.
I have to ask the question because, I was down at City Hall when the organization was first started. So it went from a startup organization that still had to prove itself in the neighborhood,
Yeah,
that we're going to be good, to a great neighborhood, to a great organization and a destination. What goes through your mind when you're going from an organization that was a startup to a much more established and proven organization?
well, we had a front row seat for that transformation with an office right on Madison Square Park, which was hard to believe now, once considered a dangerous sort of place. As a neighborhood, the lights would go out at 5 o'clock back in the early 80s, and it was a little bit of a no man's land, right? And I think you just take, what you try to do is create a brand that not only expresses what the thing is right now, but what the ambitions are for it. It's sort of painting a picture of what you want it to become. And in fact, speaking of Madison Square Park, we did the original branding for Shake Shack when it just opened there as a pop-up hamburger joint that was being operated by the fancy restaurants that Union Square Hospitality Group and Danny Meyer run. And little did we know that it would be a global empire one day. We just were trying to do some nice signs on what looked like a quasi-temporary building in the middle of the park. And you just try to build it so it could just be that one building and work, but also build it so that if it has, 300 branches around the world, it still is convincing. Likewise, you want to you want to name a neighborhood, identify a neighborhood, come up with a brand for a neighborhood that works for people regardless of why they're there, but also expresses where you want it to go and where it's going to go beyond where it is now.
As I listen to you, I think about neighborhoods, I think about cities, and I think about common mistakes that some cities make. I remember one city, I'm not going to mention it, that had a brand that said they were the new global standard, and they really weren't, and they've reached too far. Is that a common mistake?
Well, if you do what I do, almost everyone I sit down with assumes that they're going to be the new global standard for hamburgers or pet food delivery or barber shop or whatever they are. Everyone's got a big ambition, and so what you're trying to do is actually come up with something that's right sized for what they want. And I think particularly what's interesting about naming a neighborhood is that people are suspicious if it feels like an artificial construct, if they feel like they're being hustled somehow by people with something to gain, either in terms of real estate or leases or rentals or condo sales or something. And so if you're doing, if you're marketing a building, it is always the best location in whatever city you are, and whatever city you are is the best city in the world, et cetera, right? And so that kind of hyperbole, no one takes seriously out there in the world. You can, if you're in a conference room with a client, you're everyone's true believers. But once you're actually showing it to anyone, they tune that out and they sort of see what they want to get out of it. The great fortune that we have in this neighborhood is that the trajectory it's on, the momentum that it's exhibited, it's all real. The difference between 1980 and 2022 is so startling. And it's actually the essence of what makes New York City a dynamic place. So the idea of this being sort of where New York meets New York, where you can, it's sort of the inflection point of downtown and uptown, the east side and the west side, of living, working, playing, all of those things come together in a way that's really different than a lot of other neighborhoods. There are neighborhoods that have a great reputation for being shopping districts or business districts or entertainment districts. That's whether it's Wall Street or 42nd Street or Upper Madison Avenue or something, say. But I think this one has so many different things happening, and all those different things express why someone like me moved from Ohio back in 1980 to New York, and where I've stayed ever since, is because of exactly what this neighborhood has to offer.
I have to ask, the about the perspective that you have. You've done global work with some of the best, including presidential campaigns. the unique perspective that you have being in the neighborhood, how much does that matter?
Well, I think it matters enormously. It's one thing to kind of look at a product you're trying to sell and, look at a bunch of focus group results or, marketing analysts sort of keywords or word clouds or diagrams saying this is what the spirit of this neighborhood is, and to sort of understand it just as a intellectual construct. If you're there every single day, if you're out on the sidewalk, if you're sitting in those restaurants, if you're going to those destinations, if you depend on it actually, as I do as a business owner, to serve as a amenity for the people we're trying to hire. We want them to be really excited to be working in this district, and they are, because the life on the sidewalk, even through the past few years, where so much of New York was under siege by a terrible worldwide virus. I think in Flatiron Nomad, I think we've really not just managed to survive, but thrive in the midst of all that.
I think that's such a powerful message. And if you could stay with us for a moment as we move on in the agenda, and I want to say thank you to you, but also recognize a number of organizations, Michael, that are a key part of the wonderful success of the Flatiron Nomad. And we're going to begin with you. We begin by honoring Michael Barut, a partner of Pentagram, as a recipient of the 1010 Wins Community Leadership Award for what he's done for our city, what he's done for the neighborhood, what he's done for the Flatiron Nomad Partnership, and his continued involvement in the neighborhood. Congratulations, Michael, and you have some closing words for us.
Rob, very honored to make any contribution at all to the success of a part of the city that we not only appreciate but treasure and, I dare say, love. And if you are creating brands, to come up with a brand that people actually love is the ultimate goal and the ultimate reward. And to sort of participate in that and is a great honor as it is to get this award. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for being a part of it and for the rebuilding of this great city. Your love and connection really comes out clearly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, that was terrific. Our second award goes to Scarpetta NYC. Located on the ground floor of the James, New York Nomad Hotel, it provides culinary experience while embracing and celebrating environmental sustainability. And it's also helping to solidify the neighborhood as one of the city's most popular destinations and soon to be the best tasting neighborhood in the city. Accepting the award is the founder, John Meadow. John.
Hi, Rob.
John, I just called you the best tasting neighborhood in the city. I'm going to get in a lot of trouble with a lot of friends across the city.
Thank you for saying it, but again, it takes a village, and I think there's so many wonderful restaurants in the neighborhood, and we feel very privileged to be a part of that community.
It's wonderful what you've done in terms of building a great empire that you have in the neighborhood. Would you like to talk a little bit about the neighborhood and your company?
Sure. We opened the original Scarpetta in the meatpacking district back in 2008. And unfortunately, when that lease was up in 2018, we had to relocate. And we found the opportunity with GFI when they were redeveloping the Carlton Hotel at what is now the James Hotel to move the restaurant. And it was a very intimidating, unique scenario for us. But it was, in the end, it's been the most important career move for us. And we found a wonderful new home. Ironically, for me, my first job in a New York City restaurant was at Tavola on 11 Madison Park back in 1998, before the park had regentrified. And therein lies something very sentimental for me, and we got here with the move.
Well, it's really, really special, and I'm going to have to get James Metham to, get me a fancy table at your place.
It's our absolute pleasure. It's our absolute pleasure.
Well, congratulations on this honor from 1010 Wins, and good luck going forward.
Thank you, Rob. We appreciate it. And most of all, we're excited to have the neighborhood become a green dining destination, and for all the fellow restaurateurs participating in that initiative to be greener. Thank you.
Thank you for what you're doing for the city, and you're certainly setting an example. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. What a great story, and look up the work he's doing on environmental sustainability. It's wonderful. Creating great neighborhoods requires a bold vision and a laser beam focus. This is something that the Flatiron Nomad Partnership has been doing for years. We applaud the Flatiron Nomad Partnership for their strong leadership, their outstanding service, effective management, and re-energizing and growing this dynamic neighborhood of Manhattan. And accepting the Community Leadership Award is their president, James Metham. James, congratulations.
Hey, Rob, thanks so much for the honor. Great being here.
You know, you must have been smiling when Michael was talking about the change of this neighborhood. And I remember walking up up Broadway with you as the city was looking to bounce back, and it just keeps growing. And a lot of it is setting that environment and creating the conditions for businesses to grow. It's exactly what you and your team are doing.
That's right. I mean, Michael is a spokesman really for the neighborhood, and I always have a smile on my face whenever he waxes poetic on all that is great about Flatiron and Nomad. And yeah, we're a caretaker for the neighborhood. We're stewards for it, and it's the very businesses and partners that are in the room today with us that I'm fortunate to work with each day in making Flatiron Nomad a better place. And a place for everybody, an epicenter of possibilities. So it's a real honor to be recognized for that, but it's on behalf of really a lot of different stakeholders that show up each day to make it great.
You know, a lot of organizations circled the wagons. During these last 2 years, you carried the flag and rushed ahead. I saw it firsthand, and it's just a privilege of someone who I worked with for years. To get an award like this from 10 Wins. So congratulations. I applaud you. I applaud all of the award winners today, and just keep the momentum going.
Thank you so much. We're all honored, and it's a real thrill too, as John mentioned. There's more work to do in addition to expanding our district and touching more neighborhoods and more blocks and streets. As John mentioned, there's sustainability and resiliency that's at the core of the future here. So green dining, environmental standards too. So we got our work cut out ahead of us. But thank you so much for the recognition.
Well, stay with us for the panel now, because our topic, destination where New York meets New York, the epicenter of possibilities. Participants will include James Metham, but also Melissa Brown, the Director of Sales and Marketing at Virgin Hotel Nomad. Cindy Lawrence, the executive and CEO of the National Museum of Mathematics, and Henri Myers, the co-founder of Maison 10. James, I want you to set the stage for us about your organization and what it means. Tell us more about the work of the partnership and some of the services that you provide.
Absolutely. So the Flatiron Nomad Partnership is a business improvement district located in what we think is the most dynamic and vibrant area of Manhattan.
You heard it from the best, though it is.
So be it, right? Yeah, it's one of my beyond being a caretaker and a steward, keeping it clean, making sure that people feel safe and comfortable in the neighborhood, making sure businesses have an opportunity to flourish, whether it's on hospitality side or cultural institutions or small businesses. Our job is to be the biggest cheerleader of Flatiron over the past 15 years and now Nomad as well. And so we really think that all that's happening, this terrific concoction of several different ingredients of mixed use, of an office location, of a cultural destination, of a high dining and fast casual location for foodies. It's really a mesh of opportunities that are an attractor to different people from around the city and globally. And the Flatiron Nomad partnership is here day in, day out, making sure that the places that we share are well kept and vibrant and dynamic. And so whether that's our public plazas and next to the iconic Flatiron building, or really reimagining some of our streets and sidewalks for other plaza and places for people, we're doing that in a day in and day out basis.
I have to say your placemaking and your successful placemaking saved so many restaurants in our city. And you did it with such care and attention. What's the secret sauce up at the Flatiron in doing this?
Look, I mean, it's about making sure that we're our private interests, whether it's a small business restaurateur or a fast casual takeout, knows what they can do given what the city puts out in terms of a template and a canvas for outdoor dining and use of public space. So we're a significant and tried and tested partner of the City of New York, particularly the Department of Transportation. We work day in and day out, as I've mentioned, with our public and private partners to make sure we're balancing the interests of a variety of different uses, whether that's patrons, whether that's pedestrians, cars, bicyclists, and workers and visitors. So we've opened up some streets for restaurants so that they can have a larger footprint, and that's been a lifeline over the past few years. And now we're continuing to work with both the businesses and the city on what the future of that looks like on our streets and sidewalks, because we do feel like there is a future for that. It's just got to be managed appropriately, and that's what we do. So. Yep.
Melissa, I have to turn it to you. You're the new kid on the block, so to speak. You're about to open up one of the great hotels in the Virgin Hotel Nomad, right? I mean, this is a place that people want to go. You just started on Flatiron Nomad.
That was 7 years ago. Can you believe that?
It is. Well, 7 years ago, it was a different name. What was the thing? You talk about vision.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to believe that we broke ground 7 years ago, which makes this probably one of the most highly anticipated openings. But we're very excited to make the debut. And, I think what Michael and James said about the neighborhood, why not be? This is a perfect neighborhood for Virgin and what the Virgin brand represents. We attract all different types of people, but people that are, one common thread is that they're entrepreneurial, they're creative, and you have the residents here, you have business owners that are largely startups and fintech. So all that fits very well with the Virgin ethos. And we just feel that we're going to be, a very welcomed addition to this growing and changing neighborhood.
And quite frankly, there's now a cluster of hotels that did not exist 10 years ago.
Correct. Yeah, it's making it very competitive. But with that, I mean, our mantra is like everyone leaves feeling better. So how do we create that? So, just a bit of history. If we're talking about history with Michael in the 1980s, if we go even back to the 1880s, what's really special about where we sit and the soil that we sit on is this was once known as the Haymarket, which was kind of the Moulin Rouge of the Gilded Age. So it was a very inclusive place that you would have, the high-heeled ladies of Madison Avenue come down and kind of, intermix with the other people from the garment district. So, but it was always about, the celebration of life and a good place to go and have fun. So it's, ironic enough that we actually sit on that soil. So we want to recreate that same energy through all the different spaces that we'll have available. And we'll have over 20,000 square feet of indoor-outdoor space to surprise and delight and entertain. The terrace alone is 6 stories off Broadway. We have a modern day social club. We have an outdoor conservatory. Wow. And then soon will be unveiled as a signature chef-driven restaurant. So, we have a lot of offerings for the residences and for the tourists and the New Yorkers alike. So we're very excited about all it. I think we have a lot to offer.
It really changes the equation quite a bit. And Cindy Lawrence, I need to into this and also make a little bit of a confession. James probably knows this. He saw me working on budgets over years. I need to confess, I'm not a great math student, but looking at your website, you're making math fun for people. Tell us more about the museum.
Well, let me just say that you are my target audience. The museum is liked very much by people who like math, but the museum is actually loved by people who don't like math, aren't comfortable with math. So I would encourage you to come and visit and let me show you around. Really try to take math and make it something beautiful, aesthetic, filled with wonder, joy, color, excitement. And these are words we don't usually associate with math. You're looking at pictures where people are exploring, they're playing, they're discovering, they're having fun. It's not the math of your classroom. It's a different kind of place.
You said joy, excitement, and math, all in one sentence. I think I heard.
Absolutely.
Who was you said I'm your audience, but where are the visitors coming from? And when they're coming,
visitors from all over the world, actually. We have programs now both right in person and physical in our wonderful location. We also are running online programs, and we are keeping track during the pandemic, and we've got people coming now from 125 countries around the world have participated with us. So we also appeal to all ages. We say everyone from 2 to 102 should come and visit. And really, for people who like math, they'll find some deep math hidden within the exhibits. But for people who maybe didn't have a comfortable relationship with math, you're going to come in and you're not going to see any numbers. You're going to see a giant adult-sized tricycle with square wheels that you get to ride on. And you'll want to take a picture of yourself on it and share it with your friends. We've got a 3D sculpture studio where you're creating with mathematics. We've got a giant easel where you paint with math. We have exhibits that you run back and forth on and learn a little bit about calculus through your position, your velocity, and your acceleration. We have a giant exhibit that will turn you into a fractal, a puzzle room, chairs that spin around. Well, it's hopefully something for everyone.
Boy, I feel like I missed out, because my classes were not like that. Henri, I got to bring you in on this. We're talking about entrepreneurship, creativity. It sounds like your place. Tell us more about Maison.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Thanks, Rob. So basically, Maison 10, we're a retail concept store, art gallery, and a special event space that's based here in the middle of Nomad. We just celebrated 6 years on 29th Street between 5th and Broadway. Part of what we do is a really innovative concept where we use the number 10 throughout the entire theme. So basically, we feature 10 categories. Art is one, but then you also have gifts, fragrances, candles, homewares. There's always 10 brands that we feature in each of those 10 categories. And within 10 weeks time, it changes. So it's always something new, something fresh. It's everything that we love, and we hope that our patrons and our clientele love it as well. And then the last bit about what we do is 10% of all our sales go to one of 10 different charities that we also feature. So it's a quite interactive. There's a lot going on with what we do. But the community that's based here in Nomad has really kind of kept us going through these last 6 years.
Well, and the growth of the Flatiron Nomad partnership helps, right? They've recently pushed their boundaries to reach you, which is wonderful. And now you have a seat at the table with all these other attractions, which is terrific. 10 weeks. 10 weeks. It has to be a challenge for you,
It's actually quite easy for us. I mean, my background's been in fashion for 20 years. My husband's background was in the nonprofit world back in the UK. So it's really a fusion of both of our concepts, kind of what we do and how we want to portray what we do to the masses. We have developed a really amazing community here that's supported by the hotels, the businesses that are here as well, and then also just all the residents that reside in this area. So it's really kind of kept us going, and it's been great. It's a lot of fun. We do a lot of events, and we like to work with local the hotels and also local brands to help kind of highlight and promote the whole concept.
Is it your sense that it's a necessity now for retailers to keep things fresh, to keep to make the changes that you have included in part of your formula?
I mean, I think most retailers will now start to kind of get on that bandwagon where they need to do something. Just because you have a retail space does not necessarily mean anyone's going to come and shop. So again, with my background being in fashion and marketing and branding, that was something that I knew that off the bat we needed to do. We needed to have events that are going to be interesting. We have comedy shows here on the mezzanine level. We have some dance performances, but then we also support those local artisans and some of the charities and nonprofits within the space as well. So it makes for a really great time. We get a very diverse group of different types of people that come through, lots of travelers, and it makes it really worthwhile to come by and check us out.
I got a lightning round for everybody. Looking forward, what are the one or two things that you would like to see added to the neighborhood? Melissa, we'll start with you. And
more pedestrian areas, so like closed streets. I think that's in the works. I think
James is doing a good job to the south.
Yes, he is. Yeah. I'm waiting for the section between 30th and 29th.
I like it.
We're working on it. Yeah.
Cindy, other than me coming up and taking a math course, what would you like to see?
Well, that's a really big one. I hope that will happen. But I would agree with Melissa. We really enjoyed closing the street in front of the museum during the pandemic and bringing out amazing math entertainment for people. And I think when everybody was feeling so isolated and we could get outside and be together and do things as a community, it was really beautiful. And we look forward to being able to do that again.
Andre?
I definitely think it's just all the businesses and all the residents, businesses, really trying to have everybody communicate and be on the same page and be aware of each other. We've done a really strong part of that with reaching out to the hotels that are close by. Hopefully, Melissa would come in to see you very soon.
Yes.
But making sure that all the other retailers and restaurants know about each other, pass people on, say, hey, you're looking for some great art, you just moved into the area, pop by here, or wow, you need some extra classes or a yoga class, go there. So I think it's more visibility and awareness between all of us.
I'd like to underscore that. I think that's a fabulous idea. And actually, MoMath had an event in your space.
That's right.
So, and we're looking forward to sending our patrons to your hotel, Melissa. And the fact that James brings us all together and does such a fabulous job in the community, it's really wonderful. So
that is the perfect way of closing this out, because this is what James does. He brings people together, and it's what the organization has done. He is one of the very best in the business across the nation, James and this organization. And I got to tell you, I feel so good, hearing all of you. I cannot wait to get up. This has been a great conversation. I wish all of you well, and I'm looking forward to getting to know all of you a lot more. I want to introduce a colleague that I've enjoyed working with over the last several years on the Neighborhood Spotlight, and also one of my favorite nights, the 10-10 Wins Small Business Challenge. Let me turn things over to Mark Pazinski.
Thank you, Rob, and we thank you very much for your commitment to small business across the entire New York metro area. We also thank Michael, James, Megan, and Ariel, along with our panelists and award winners, along with the Flatiron Nomad Partnership for their participation and sponsorship in today's 10-10 Wins Neighborhood Spotlight. This is a special day, and we thank Dime Community Bank for their sponsorship in the 10-10 Wins Small Business $10,000 Challenge. Now in its 7th year, with $170,000 already awarded to small business, today we officially open the 18th 10-10 Wins Small Business $10,000 Challenge. Small businesses up to 100 employees within the New York metro area are eligible to enter. Please let us know what you would do with $10,000 to re-energize, to re-engage, and re-in-charge your business, and perhaps your business will be our next winner. Please go to 1010wins.com/challenge. That's 1010wins.com/challenge to enter today. Thank you very much for your support to small business.
Thank you, Mark. And I can't believe it's been 7 years. And I'm looking forward to the next challenge, no doubt. Thank you to this incredible panel and our speaker tonight, Michael Barut, along with the Flatiron Nomad Partnership for their sponsorship of today's program. And for more information, go to flatironnomad.nyc. That's flatironnomad.nyc. Check out their events, the new openings, the shops in this powerful, dynamic neighborhood that is making a difference in our city as we rebuild and go forward. Thanks, everybody.